So, like every other golfer, you're in the gym after his US Open, Bryson's US Open win. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty impressive. I think everyone's accepting that as a fact. He said what he was going to do. He's committed to it, and he dominated the game. So,
Strength things. Do you think he's been doing that? What you do as well, or?
So if you look into his timeline, I think he started off with basically getting his body balanced and where he wanted it. So with the activation techniques, he made sure all the muscles in his body were optimal, really. I think that was before the real size came in. He got his body in the shape that he wanted it to be. He knew he was in a good place with his game. Obviously, he was still winning at that point. And then, obviously, he's gone a few steps forward this year in terms of just getting after it. It's more a case of, with his training, I think it's more a case of volume and consistency as opposed to any real specific focus. So, lots of machines, lots of specific muscular activities matched with hands-on physio, basically. Hands-on manipulation from a trainer where the work in the gym is then being tweaked, moulded to allow him to function the best possible. As I said, the thing with what Bryson's done, he's a top-level player. He's training every single day. He's practicing every day. He's got numerous coaches, and it's how other golfers, recreational golfers, can learn from that, but then apply it to their own scenario. Because not many people are going to have hands-on treatment every day. They're not going to have that kind of time to train or practice. So it's a case of refining your own goals, understanding your own game, and then how his approach can be changed and basically learned from to help yourself out with your own game.
So what kind of things do you think the average golfer could do in the gym and kind of relate that to how they play on the average week?
You can learn a lot from what Bryson's done. As I said, he got his body in shape first of all, to the point where he knew he was healthy, he knew he was functioning well, and then he could put that work in. So for a lot of people who are working jobs where you probably do sit down for long periods, you can be driving on your desks, you may be not as active as you would like to be, probably only playing golf once, twice a week. You want to look at getting the body healthy and functioning well first of all. So lots of conditioning work. You need to basically get yourself in that healthy place. So eating well, lots of cardio in terms of just getting that base level fitness in place. Alright, that might be walking and playing golf for some people. That might include a lot more running, cycling, etc. For others. It's going to be relative to each person. But from there, you don't need to go straight into load bearing exercise. It really depends what you're trying to achieve. So if we're trying to get that functionality, banded work, bodyweight exercises are going to be perfect because you can challenge the body in a really great number of different movement capacities whilst having tension but no external load. So that soreness, etc. isn't necessarily going to be there. It's going to be more a case of getting all those muscles fired up, functioning well, and that is going to give you two things. One, it's going to give you a better golf swing right now. It's going to be more efficient. You're going to be able to use your body better and get in the positions that you want to. And two, it's going to give you more longevity. Because if you keep forcing the game, if you keep playing golf with a body that's tight, not functioning very well, it's only ever going to last for so long. So for me, I like the functional style of training. Again, I do a lot of the banded work as warm-ups, as things early in the day. Match a lot of the programs up. I'm always testing workouts, I'm always testing different ways of doing things so that we can deliver that to golfers everywhere. So my day will typically start out with conditioning, cycling, rowing, etc. Steady state, just to get the body working, get fired up. I'll hit up some functional mobility, some banded work where I'm challenging the body, again, as I said, in different ranges of motion, different levels of tension, and basically just getting activation we talked about, making the body optimal. Got the opportunity to just hit a few balls, see how the swing's going, and what you'll find is over time, you'll have a much greater awareness of how your swing feels and functions once you start to get the body active. So, again, in terms of how DeChambeau has done this over time, obviously he got the function there, and then he added mass. So, We should talk about the mass side because everybody does. I mean, he's added so much weight. He's a big dude now. Like he committed to another plan, and I think that's one thing that golfers should really be aware of. That was performance-based, not necessarily health-based, or something that everyone should really follow on from.
So how much weight, when he decided to change, what kind of size is he? What kind of weight did he put on?
Yeah, I think he's gained something in the region of 40 plus pounds.
Wow.
And that's a big deal, because 200 pounds is kind of standard, as more or less where I'm at, and I've always been considered on the biggest side of golf, so to go up to 240-ish or wherever he's at now,
Wow.
that's a commitment to doing things a certain way.
Yeah.
And as I said before, he's working every single day. Everything that he does is based on golf performance, and he has that ability to commit, and he's executed that pretty well. For the average golfer, you got to be focused more on health, function, basically happiness, than thinking getting bigger is going to help you out off the tee. Because first of all, you have to match the swing to that mass. It's not just a case of you get bigger, you're going to hit it further. You have to understand how to move that mass efficiently, create the rotational patterns, and do things well. But really just make sure your understanding of your own goals and how everything's going to balance out in terms of your holistic lifestyle and everything else matches up to what you're eating, how you're training, and how that's going to affect your game.
So not just eating crap to put on mass.
No, that's going to be an incredibly small amount of people.
Yeah.
Golfers coming up now, 17, 18, 19, or whatever, who are getting close to that elite level. Adding mass is probably going to be something that a lot of people try, and there's nothing wrong with that. You just got to do it in the right way. So you want to be eating good foods. You don't want to be just eating for the sake of it. Still eating the good stuff. Matching your training up in terms of periodized strength training. You're going to be keeping up with your mobility, keeping your swing work, your technical side going well, and doing it over the long term. Because if you do that over the short term, try and do too much, you're going to bounce back in different ways, and it's probably going to negatively affect your body over time, because you're not going to have that balance, you're not going to have that awareness of where you're at, where you're going, and that could get tricky.
Got the big dog out?
Yeah.
You got a hole in it?
It's only a new one, mate.
Is it that? You've been hitting it too hard, that's the problem.
Yeah, man.
So when you're hitting it into the net, are you just focusing on power and distance, or?
Yeah, I think sometimes you got, especially with the lockdowns, everything this year, the net is effective if you have a pretty good feel for your swing. But in terms of what we're doing right now, when you're trying to hit driver, again, I think that's something that a lot of players can take away from this whole story, is that when you are hitting driver, commit to distance. Otherwise, there's not too much point in hitting driver. So, in terms of talking about Bryson DeChambeau and his distance increases, it's not purely a case of just adding mass and you hit it further. Like, you have to match your body to your swing. So, if you can get in the gym, get bigger, and maintain or increase your speed, that, alongside the mass, is going to help you hit it a lot further. But you have to be thinking about the swing mechanics and how everything else works in terms of the swing. So, training, being aware of your own ability to create force through the ground, and then the strength in your core, all these different aspects of a well-balanced training routine is going to get you where you want to be. And then the other thing you'll see with DeChambeau is where he gets fired up on the tee, he gets all pumped up, gets ready to go. That's it. Whether you want to go that far, whether you want to be that guy on the tee doing that, is up to you. But commit to hitting as far as possible when you do get the driver out. Commit to the shot you want to see. As soon as you start to steer it and just try and hit the fairway, generally it just it's not going to be optimal. So commit to the swing, understand how your work in the gym relates to your swing itself. Again, for me, I'm always focused on the strongest core possible. I'm looking at rotation, obviously, but for me, I'm always stronger through the ground. So when I swing, when I go for a big drive, I'm really trying to push into that trail side as much as possible, So when I turn, I get a big wide swing, all my pressure's on the instep of my foot, and then I know from there I can push and rotate the hip, extend, and really let it go. So that commitment side, understanding your body, then transitioning into this one.
So you're focusing on hitting it pretty hard today then?
It's always the way, right? I think, like I said before, you got to commit to it. Aggressive style of play. It's just good to tee up driver and get after. I think caught that one pretty good. That one flew nice downwind. So always staying aggressive. I think choose the holes where you can hit driver. And again, taking that Bryson approach. It's not always going to work out when you're just teeing up on your home course wherever you're at. Make sure if you're taking the driver out, you know you're going to hit it deep, you know you're going to get after it, but you also know you got a good chance of finding it. It's always a good play. So, like we said before, whenever you're thinking about the DeChambeau approach, make sure it's relative to you. Make sure you understand how you're going to get a body where you need to, whether that's in stages or how you're going to take it in terms of your mass, your size, and your overall health. And then put the work in on your game so that all that work in the gym, all that time, all the effort that you put into it is going into the technical side. You're seeing the benefits, and you're hitting it real far.